Right, morning guys, welcome back to NZ Mopar Outlaw Customs. So this will be video 130 and the 1925 studebaker. So the weekend was pretty good. I'm a bit gutted I didn't get a chance to go to the drags yesterday. We went to, obviously you would have seen by the time I've put this up, the burnouts in Lawrence, which would have normally been last year in 2020 was the Rev Rock and Hot Plus burnouts, whereas this year they cancelled the car show but kept the the guys that were organising the burnout side of it kept that going, which was cool. I was hoping that when I got there there might have been a few more cars, like old school cars there, but there was almost nobody there when I got there. We were probably maybe an hour sort of before the burnouts were meant to start. The burnouts were meant to start about 11. We got there about just before 10, thinking that might have been a few people there just hadn't been to mingle around with their old school cars. There was a few old school cars turned up, but by that stage there was, I think it was like 20 something cars doing burnouts. I'm not sure if I managed to film everyone, but well, I think I got at least everyone once, and then obviously get quite a few of them multiple times. But yeah, I just didn't get a chance to walk around in the cars to get some footage of some of the stuff that was there. There was a lot of modern stuff, and there was a lot of old school cars in amongst them when we sort of left, but I just didn't get a chance to have a look around. It was an awesome day. I think we left about 3. I think they carried on a little bit longer than what we did when we left, but by that stage we'd seen them go through about 3 or 4 lots of burnouts, most cars, so we'd sort of had enough by that stage. Would have been, probably if I was there by myself I might have hung around a bit longer and watched the, figured out who won, whatever, because they were all numbered, and yeah, there was a winner at the end of the day. I'm not sure who won it. To be honest, I think it would be a toss-up between probably the 58 Chev. There was a little white Corolla there that had a Lexus V8 that had a tunnel ram on it. That was on nitrous. That freaking thing was absolutely psycho. Basically, he just got onto the pad, and as soon as he got started, he just hit the nitrous and it screamed at 8,000 RPMs or whatever it was pulling. And probably the guys from, I think they call themselves D-Spin or Spring or whatever they call themselves, in their blue Holden Ute, which is now on a video game. Burnout Masters or whatever it is, video game that you get for your phone or your tablet. It's been devised from Australia. There's quite starting to get a few New Zealand cars in it. They were one of them. It just popped up in that video game because a young fella plays it on his mum's phone quite a bit, and he loves that car from last year. So yeah, but there was quite a few other good competition cars where last year they were sort of probably the big one, but this year there's quite a few other cars that were probably close to or similar to that level, you know what I mean? Like they're just burning tyres off those things. I think the guy in the 58 had like 5 sets of back tyres, all brand new, and just burnt them off every time. It was awesome, and going for that ride, and it was wicked. So yeah, I think the second burnout that car did, his missus drove it. I think that was her first time on the pad. I think she races like circuit cars or something like that. I'm not 100% sure. I remember them talking about it at one point, but I just didn't quite get the gist of what sort of racing she was doing. But she's got some sort of car, and I think by the sounds it was circuit racing. But yeah, that was her first time driving the burnout car. So, but yeah, it was cool to get a ride in the back in the third go, and I think that was probably at that point it was probably his best for sure. Because the 4th one that they did, he almost, well, I'm not sure if he hit the arm cove barrier or not, but he got really close because he stopped and actually hopped out and had a look, and there was no major, doesn't look like there was any damage. He might have just nudged it, I think. But yeah, it was quite funny. But we always sort of expected him to see him back off and with the Brunville sort of stoved in the corner, but fortunately he did no damage, which was pretty cool. I didn't get a chance to talk to him again after that, but it was an awesome day. So anyway, I'm going to keep sanding on stuff. I'll bring you back when I've got through a bit of it somewhere. I've actually grabbed some stickers and stuff off that guy off the 50 actually, which I'm going to put on. I got a couple I'm going to put on a toolbox, but I forgot to bring them here. They were at home still. Anyway, I'm going to get into it. Yeah. But yeah, I was gutted I didn't get to go to the drags yesterday because Mrs. wanted to go to the beach. She said, well, you had Saturday at the burnouts with obviously all of us, and I was hoping that maybe we could have went to the beach and then went to the burnouts afterwards. Probably could have, but her and the boys wanted to go home, so we went home. But it would have been cool to go watch mate Gibbo on that green Charger, and you know, would have been heaps of other people there. Would have been quite good to watch too. But it is what it is. I didn't get quite. I thought I was going to get to go to both, but didn't. But anyway, and it now sounds like this frickin' other variant from South Africa is going to screw things up even worse. God, because they're talking about closing the borders around the world, fully locked down again. So frickin' crazy shit. But anyway, carry on. Righty, everybody. So I've blocked back these two panels in. This one is, I think it's pretty close. Like I might need a little bit of glazing putty, you know, in the worst marks. I think there's a few little spots like that, you know, and this, you know, a couple of spots like that. But the rest of it's pretty good. I think this is almost ready for high build and blocking out. You know, apart from possibly these little marks, even the high build, you know, might take the worst of these out, and then we might just have to chase a couple of little marks later. Each 1.5 dozen, might have to, you know, clean up this edge a little bit yet, but basically that's almost ready to go. This really needs another skim. There's too many. I think the bulk of it's pretty good, but there's too much, you know, shit like this that needs obviously more filler. This is the one that we shrunk heaps. I knocked that back the other day. That's good. It's sort of, it's not too bad now. It's not too high. This doesn't feel too bad. It doesn't feel like it's coming, like it's really pushing up. But yeah, this needs probably another very light skim just to try and clean these pieces up. Because obviously it's a lot of high material, like there's even, you can even see here it's a bit grayer, so it shows that there's, you know, that's getting close to steel too, you know, and then over on these edges we're close to steel, so there's no point digging a hole out here to make it look good at this point. That's not going to work, you know. All you're doing is making a panel like that. So you're better off just to leave it alone, just put some more product on it and block it out again. I've started on here. I've sort of just knocked the top off this one here. I've sort of done a bit more. It needs some more blocking back, but I'm tempted to pull the panels off and do them on the stands like these, just because it's at this point it's easier, I think, to block them out on a stand, you know, and then just work on these pieces on the body because you can't do anything else. But at least this you can, you know, you can lay it down flat and get a real good rub. You can rub it good to here, but it's easier on here than it is on there within reason, if you know what I mean. It probably moves a little at least on there because you only got the bit of body movement, but at least here you can get a good go, and you can actually get up underneath this edge a little bit easier. You know, you can see what you're doing, whereas you're looking down on there, so you got to, you know, you got to bend down and get in there. Because we've sort of half dialed this line in, because, you know, we've added a little bit of material, because this was too shallow when they made it. You know, my one here is pretty good. I don't think by the time you do the rest of the bodywork you're ever going to notice this. Not 100% sure, because just talking about paint, I'm pretty sure it's going to be blue again. I was talking to the owner the other day, and he's yeah, I think they're talking the blue, which is like a deep sort of, I'm guessing you'd sort of call it like a royal sort of deep navy blue sort of thing, and black, obviously black on the fenders and stuff like that. Now I've seen a few different photos of cars. Some of this line here is painted black, and this is painted black, and then I presume, not sure about them behind here, but you know, like this has been masked off and painted black under here up to this line. You know, it's blue up to here and then black above. You know, and then the wooden, well, the wood look metal capping on top, which matches the rest of the dash, and then obviously upholstery background to here, and then this obviously would be black, but a lot of it's covered by the canvas top. So, and I'm pretty sure this is going to be painted, covered with material, like probably really that panel doesn't need to be there. That's kind of yeah, I think they were thinking ahead of themselves. I think they might have thought it was a bit more like some of the earlier cars where they had, like, you know, they had a metal back on here and then a metal back on there. Whereas I'm pretty sure that 26 that was in Queenstown, this was all material on the back. And I'm pretty sure the car that's in Australia is all material on the back. So this is kind of, almost doesn't need to be here, but I don't know, because otherwise it's a huge job to bodywork that as well, because it's not perfect and it's in a shit of a spot to work on. So yeah, I'm pretty sure it's going to get covered in material, so we'll just, you know, prime it and undercoat it, and you know, and I don't know whether we're going to, you know, we might just seal it up with sort of like we're doing here. I'll have to talk to the owner a bit more and just see what he wants to do. I don't know whether them were painted in here or not, but I'm pretty sure that none of them had metalwork in here. So yeah, otherwise that's going to be a huge job to bodywork all that too. So yeah, now I haven't done any more with these in-between pieces around here yet. I haven't done any more blocking on any of this stuff, but I'll do that shortly. I'll re-mud those other pieces, or that door anyway. I don't think I'll panic about that front one, and I'll block out this other stuff and probably re-mud it or whatever, if it needs it. To be honest, I don't think it probably does. You know, it might be close to for high build too, you know, probably maybe apart from these sections, you know, we've got a bit of dialing in to do here. You know, we'll get these cleaned up. But yeah, that one definitely needs mud. Not, it does, but it doesn't. You know, you could probably do even with glazing putty. You know, you could probably fill the rest of this with glazing putty, if you know what I mean. But it's probably just as easy to mix a wee skimmer, a wee puddle of body filler, and just scrape the whole thing and be done with it. Now, so we get on with these. This isn't looking too bad for where we're at the moment. Like, I don't see any major, you know, holes. You know, I think a lot of it's going to sand out. Got to be careful though, because we're getting closer to steel here, but we should be able to block a fair chunk of it out. I might rip it off and do it. I could almost set this panel aside. You know, actually probably what I could do, when I mix up a little bit of body filler for that, I might better just scrape some of these like little spots. They just try and just scrape a little bit on here, just to fill these, and then knock it off, and then we'll high build, and then the rest of it will block out. But yeah, so I can probably set this panel sort of aside, you know, if you know what I mean, and concentrate on this other stuff. Right, I'll get back to you short because I'm in waffling for 8 minutes. Righty guys, I'm about to bugger off for lunch. So yeah, I've started knocking the body filler off, the extra pieces on the body. I've got basically the 3 doors re-skimmed. I've just been starting to knock this stuff back. I haven't done anything really more with this. When I'd done the last back door, I had a little bit left over, which I was trying to do, and just had enough to fill a couple of bad-ish marks on this door. But yeah, I'm going to bugger off, go have some lunch, and then come back. So yeah, that'll do it for now. Can't think of anything else to say, but yeah, I definitely want to make some more of these. I want some more, because this one here is a bit long for doing this stuff, but I'd like a shorter block, like a short block, one that's about half this length. Go figure, got 240 on it, so this is good again, but there's quite a curve in that front cowl. It'd be nice just to have that blocks that you can flex around there. I have got a couple of the skinny ones set up with 80 grit, so I might just use that. I wouldn't have minded the wider one. I have got a shorter, sort of a semi-shorter one, so I might put some 80 grit on that. I haven't used that one yet. I wouldn't mind a little bit longer one, but it's one of the other ones I made. So yeah, I'll set that up with some 80 grit on it for later when I come back. But all this stuff here should be really dry by the time I come back too. This is fairly fresh, like, 15 minutes sort of go. Whereas this stuff's that's been like probably a good hour and a half or more. And this one's, yeah, not quite that long, sort of type thing, as I was going through the doors. But yeah, so these should be all nice and baked up by the time I hopefully get back, in theory, because it's getting hotter. Ugh, friggin' dust. Anyway, I'll carry on, go have some lunch. Right, before I forget, I was trying to remember what I was going to say before, but I sort of forgot. Thanks everybody who's been watching my new video, the burnout one. I haven't quite put the next one up of this yet, which I'm going to do when I get home. It's all ready to go. I finished editing it this morning and set it rendering before I went to work. So I'm going to throw that up. But thanks everybody that's been watching that video. Again, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe and leave a comment. I don't care if it's just hi, how you going, and where you're from. Just keep that algorithm moving if you can, guys. Be muchly appreciated, especially for these news guys. Yeah, like if you're a regular watcher, you just give me a thumbs up and just, even if it's just a thumbs up and a whatever in the comment, because all those things keep the YouTube thing machine rolling, if you know what I mean. Like the background crap, like the algorithm, what they call it, to keep pushing my videos to hopefully so I can get some more subscribers. So yeah, and again, thanks for the guys that have subscribed in the last couple of days. I've gained a few just in the last sort of few days. It's been good. I've sort of jumped up about another 10, which has been really cool. It's been a while. I've been sitting stuck at that sort of 840 mark. I'm now 851, which is really awesome. Appreciate every one of you. Guarantee one of them's probably Paul and Anita, I think it is, that were in that 58 Chev. That was awesome. Thanks for that, guys. Hopefully I'll get to see you again too, and I think it's February, the Red South that down here at the local tracks. I'm not sure if it says it's Teretonga, but I'm not sure if they mean Teretonga as in the is the dirt speedway track, or if they mean at the asphalt track. I would think it's where the burnout pad is, and the speedway side of it, which is two different things. It's the same area, but two different things. But yeah, that's a lot further away, so hopefully get to see you guys again there, and I'll try and get there and do some more videoing. I desperately want a drone, but I just can't afford to get one, which is a pain in the butt, because that's a lot further away from you You're outside the dirt oval, and the burnout pad's in the middle. It's a reasonable size. I think it's bigger than what's here was at Lawrence, but I think it's quite a bit bigger. It's about, I think it's 100 feet wide or more, 30 or 40 metres type thing, or about 100 odd feet round. And I think it's bigger. I'm not 100% sure. I think it's bigger. They built it a few years ago, and then they extended it and put a runoff into it. But it's right in the middle of the grass, so like there's nothing for them to hit except just grass and dirt, which is cool. But yeah, I would desperately love a drone there, because then you can fly over and get some cool shots in close without sort of being in danger. But yeah, I'll just have to do what I can do, see what I can do. Hopefully maybe get a ride in a couple of cars if I can wiggle that along too, which would be really cool, because that was awesome. Mrs. was pissed off that she didn't get to do it, but oh, maybe next time. That's what I said anyway. So yeah, anyway, we'll catch you later on. I'll go have some lunch. Righty guys, so using this bad boy, which I've just blown off. Holy crap, does that show the marks? I've been using that instead of this and that. I have swapped between these a couple of times for different areas, and I used the DA to sort of knock it down for a start. But this is one of the panels I had sitting over there. I've just put this one back with a bit more in it, because it again was a bit more like this with using this block, and holding it here and here, and blocking this out in all different directions. Yeah, I actually thought this was pretty flat before, and I put another skim at it, thinking I was going to get it a lot more out of it, block it hard down, and would be pretty good. But you can see where I'm sort of touching steel here. I'm not too panicked about this edge. I can probably block it back a bit more, but I've got steel here, steel here, steel here. I'm starting to break through the steel here. So this is one of the panels I made. This is the door that I made. So it just shows how much that is picking up, and showing what's low and what's not. It's crazy, like because this is so much shorter. It sort of follows I suppose the contour of the body filler that you put on, and it sort of shows that it doesn't look that bad. But when you use a long block like that with this acrylic block, even though that does flex, it stays pretty flat, so it's not jumping into those humps and hollows. It's riding across them pretty good. So frick, that blew me away when I started using this. How much more, I thought I was really close, but I am, but I'm not, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot more sanding in that yet, even before I put high build on it. This one here, I'm pretty close with. I haven't gone back to this one, but I don't think I've actually blocked this with that block on. I can't remember. I don't think I have. I'll block back here, put some more body filler in here. I blocked back quite a bit of the body bit of it, in between doing other bits. Here, when I was putting putty back on that other one, I had a little bit left over, but by the time I got around here, it was starting to go off because there's a bit of a hollow in here still. I'm probably going to need a little bit more scrape body filler in here. A lot of these pieces aren't that bad. It needs a little bit more down there and stuff like that. Again, this needs more blocked out, but it also needs some low spots filled. So yeah, I'm surprised how much these blocks, the Dura blocks, tend to follow the holes, whereas these things here, because it's so rigid and flat, even though they will flex, they're only flexing a certain amount, whereas the like that one there's probably not that bad, but because this is way longer, this is all right in these short areas because it's, you know, you're running across the whole thing. But again, with something like this, you know, you might follow the hollows a little bit, but it just depends on what block you got to use in what area. But man, this thing it's crazy. It just shows up every mark. When you're standing back, I was thinking, oh yeah, no, I've only got to knock that down and we should be good. But yeah, I don't know. I'm going to block it down a bit harder, try and get a wee bit more metal showing, and maybe make these patches a little bigger. But I've got to be careful again, you know, so you're not going like that. So yeah, it's bloody surprising what those frickin' acrylic blocks pull up. It's insane. So yeah, anyway, it's about time for me to go home. I'm going to shut up shop for the night and get out of the dust and dirt and go home, and yeah. Right, morning guys, welcome back again. So, been another part of this video. So I actually dragged the stickers along, or found the stickers that I got from those guys in the 58 Chev at the weekend. So I just drew them on my toolbox and I'll just show you. So this one, Rusty 8, and this one down here, 3 down the end because it was about down the other spot. I've sort of still got the ends of my toolbox free, and obviously the top of the lid. I don't think I've actually got much on the top of the lid from over the years. Oh, there's a couple up in there, I could put a couple more. So yeah. Get back. So yeah, they're on there in the meantime. Well, not in the meantime, but they're on there now, so that's cool. Yeah, I'm still trying to work out something to put stickers on for channel stuff. I haven't had a chance to even look, to be honest. So yeah, so I'm going to put a bit more body filler in here. I blocked this back a little bit more before I left. I was going to leave, and then I decided I'd give this one more hit and block it down a bit more. So yeah, I really need to just put another skim on here, mix up a little bit more. So what I'll do is I'll skim it, and then I'll move it, and I'll grab one of these panels and block these back again. I'll probably go to this one, or this one, whatever, doesn't really matter. And block these back one more time, see how they come up. I actually might throw that panel up here and block it back with this, because like I said on the end of yesterday, well, as you can see, I actually thought this was really close, and when I blocked this back, or this lot of filler back with this, because it stays so flat, even though like I said, it will flex, it's just picked up, you know, it's showing every spot that was low, and it's where I thought, because there was a few marks in here before, sort of a little bit like this, but probably not quite this bad, you know, and I thought, oh, another skim will pull them all up. But when I switched to this block, after I made it, so I could put some 80 grit on it, it's showing how much I was actually missing. So yeah, because I actually used the style of block on those hood tops, and they are really, really, really glass flat. I've actually got a little bit of putty I've got to knock back on them at some point before we start doing a heap more priming. But yeah, so I need to put more in here. As you can see, like, it's not going to need a lot. Like, these aren't big holes, but it's just enough to be annoying, if you know what I mean. It's the odd little deeper one, but none of it's like super thick. You know, we're probably going to end up with maybe in the thickest places on here, maybe that much, just to get the worst of the wave out of this panel from me making it, basically. You know, obviously when I made it, I just probably didn't have quite enough shape in it, and when it's been pulled around, it's probably sunken in a little bit. You know, I tried to roll it that way and that way to get some curve in it, but obviously when it's been pulled around and pulled onto the panel, you know, with the shape that's in it. It's obviously flattened it out a little bit in here. It's obviously sunken down and flattened. So it's taken a little bit to fill it up. It's not, as I said, it's not thick. You know, we might be, you know, a 1/16 or maybe pushing towards an 1/8 of an inch of body filler. But it is what it is. And like I showed yesterday with this magnet, it wants to pick everything up when you don't want it to. No, we're still, you know, it's still not thick on there, you know. It's still holding it up. So like, it's not as though it's 1/2 inch thick or, you know, 1/4 of an inch thick or anything like that. It's no even near that. So, you know, for anybody that's looking and going, shit, there's a lot of body filler on there. Well, there's not really. You know, it's just taking all those imperfections out. It's either that or you either put body filler on, you know, which is, I don't know, 70 or 80 dollars a can, or you put high build on. That's, you know, by the time you get the high build and the hardener and the thinners and 2 cans of it, you know, you're almost $1,000. There's a big difference in price, you know. So you either put a shitload of freaking layers of high build on there, or whatever, or, you know, a few dollars worth of body filler to smooth out what I haven't learnt to get better yet, you know. That all comes with time with making panels. You know, this was my first full door skin I've ever made. You know, I've put patch panels on the bottoms and cut corners out and all that sort of stuff over the years, but this is my first full door skin, and it was my first time using an English wheel. So, you know, it is what it is. I think I did a pretty good job. I did fairly good, you know, and it's taken a little bit to get perfect, but it's no worse than any of the other panels that have been made. Like, I didn't make that one, and I didn't make that one, and I think I made a better job of this one than the guy that had made a lot of panels for trucks and all sorts of stuff than they did making those two. No, because I had to shrink the shit out of that. I didn't have to do bug all of that. I made it with an English wheel folder, bent this edge up, rolled it in the English wheel to get some shape in it, folded the edges over, and you know, I didn't have to do a lot more to it. So I think I did pretty well for the first time, you know. And that's the original. That's an original door panel from Studebaker. It's 100 years old, almost 100 years old. You know, like in a couple of years' time, it will be 100 years old. And, you know, there's not much less body filler on, or more body filler on that than there is on that. So, you know, I think we're doing all right. Anyway, we'll get going. Right, I'll just skim that door panel again. Again, really, really thin. You know, I just made up a little puddle on here. Basically what I could sort of scoop out with that. Just in one sort of dig and put it on there. And I've scraped it out really, really thin on here. But you can see, like, I've missed a lot of spots, so it's not very thick at all. I've just scraped that, tried to fill the worst of the marks, and then obviously give me something else to sand on, so where it's okay, I'm not sanding through, not sanding that low again around it, if you know what I mean. Because yeah, what happens if say like the C.A.R is sort of a poor example, but say you had a lot of little spots and you just put like, say, smeared a little bit in here and smeared a little bit in here, and then you, oh, hold on, turn the camera around. Like here, say there was a mark through here, and I put a bit of body filler in here, and then I come back along, and that was the only place I put it in, and then sanded this. What happens is you're actually taking this down, as well as where you put the body filler, and on the other side of it. So you're actually creating waves in a panel, trying to sand that off, because you're also sanding out here. Even though you might be sitting on top of it, you also, when you're coming over here, you're digging back into where it's already been sanded, if you know what I mean. This here, like this, I'm only going to give these a very, very light scuff, and then it'll be high builded. So it's not quite so bad. Like I'm not really going to block this out. I'm going to knock the worst off the top of it. It'll leave it a little bit high when I put the high build on it, but when I block it back, will come back through to it, and the high build will build up around that, and then we're not sanding, the body filler underneath. We're sanding the product around it. If you know what I mean. And like it's you got to try and sand across the whole panel, not dig into where you're already sanded. To get that off. You don't want to be sanding here to get that off, within reason, if you know what I mean. So if I just knock the top off a little bit, and then high build over it, a whole lot, with 5 or 6 layers of high build, and then block it down, we will touch these before we come back through to this, and then this will knock down with the high build around it, if you know what I mean. So it's not quite so bad, as long as I don't leave it thick, and I've only scraped it on there very thinly. So again, it's not as that's thick on here, so it's not going to be too much of a problem. When I block it back with a big long block with 240 or something like that, it will come down nicely and even out. But yeah, so that's why on here, I've tried to spread it out as far as I can, and I've missed over here because I just was getting short, but I've tried to put a little bit of product as much as I can over the whole panel, so when I block it, even though some of this didn't need to be puttied, it just means I can bring this whole panel down at the same level, and the marks that needed filled will get filled, and this will also help if there was any other pieces that didn't pick up the first time with blocking back with that flat block. We'll get it in this one, if you know what I mean, and then high build on top. So I'm about to sand this one down. Another quick wee tip, especially with something like this, that the panels aren't very big, I've actually got my clamps, I've actually clamped onto the wood and then over top of these pipes, because I just about had a panel fall off the other day, or yesterday, and I was blocking, and I thought, oh shit, and I grabbed it as it was starting to fall. So I've actually put a clamp on here, and a clamp on here, just to try and stop it from falling off, because I've sort of haven't quite got the skinniest point, but it's getting close. Like I'm not going to get much skinnier, if you know what I mean. That one there's a little bit skinnier, but yeah, because that's sort of, when it's up that high, it's not too bad, but it's almost too high to be comfortable, when you're standing flat like that, whereas this is just that little bit lower, look, it's a couple of 3 inches lower, but it's not pulled up as hard, because it's back 1 link. And what's this one here? See, this is back, this is back, this is on 4 links, this is on 3, so that's even, like you can see that's like at least 4 or 5 inches lower than this one, so 1 link is quite a lot, but it also closes it up a lot. So yeah, this is sort of the minimum I needed to have one of these little panels on here, whereas the front door will just sits on that, if you know what I mean, so it's alright just to sit there and rest. But yeah, these little doors, as you can see, these little doors barely fit on there, but on one more link, you got quite a bit of, you've got another few inches, so it's amazing how much it pulls it in. So yeah, I just clamped it on there, so like it's still loose, but it can't slip off, if you know what I mean. Anyway, I'm going to get blocking. Righty guys, so I've just blocked this one back again with that acrylic block, and again it showed up when I thought I had this pretty good with using the Dura blocks, and that wooden block, before I made up that block, because I had the other block with the 240 on it, the other big long one, I thought I had it pretty good, I didn't think it was going to take much more. It's not far away, but again, like I've got the spot, that's a low spot, it's a low spot through there, there's another low spot there, just from where I've skimmed it on, there. I haven't been putting it on very thick, maybe a 1.5 mil, a couple of, maybe a 1/16 of an inch thick when I've been spreading it on every time, I probably could put it on a little bit thicker, but then, you're sanding a lot off too, because when I like to sand down, I like to sand down to at least I'm touching steel sort of like this without really exposing it, if you know what I mean. So yeah, like, but yeah, this, I can feel these marks in the body filler that I've sanded off when I thought I was close with those blocks. This block here is just showing up everything there, that I need another skim across it and block it back again. And I've got to skim the whole thing again, because as I said in earlier pieces, if I just skim the little low spots, then you'd start digging into the other spots as you're knocking those bits off. So I'll skim this again, swap to that panel. I'm not sure if I showed you that I filled that one. I think I did before, can't remember. I'll lose myself now. But again, because this frickin' weathers just won't hold, and get some decent temp in it, frickin' typical frickin' down here, you'll get a really nice couple of 3 days, and then it'll frickin' get cold again. And I don't mean, like, it's not, weighing the minuses or anything stupid, but it's just, again, it's not in that. Oh, I frickin' need to convert it. I think it's about 70 Fahrenheit is 20 degrees C or thereabouts. And that's when you're getting at that good temp where a body filler will go off in a good length of time and it doesn't get that gum on top, that's pretty good now. But this here, because this has only been on here about 40 minutes, it's got that. It's actually not too bad, because I did put quite a bit extra hardener in it, because you can actually see the colour difference. Because I was just, like, these puddles give you the, like I say, it's 4 inches or 100 mils. I put a line across it. If it's 8 inches, put a liner right across it and then half a line to the tops of the thing. Well, I probably had about a 4-inch puddle there before when I skimmed that one, or a bit less. And I went across it and added a bit more, just because the temp's getting low, to get it to go off. But you got to be careful you don't put too much in it, then you end up with other issues. Whereas if a panel flexes, like especially in this old thing, it's wooden, it's going to flex. You don't want your body filler to crack. It's not thick, so it shouldn't, but you got to be careful you don't get to the other extreme, whereas the body filler won't flex with the panel. But anyway, I'll get another coat mixed up and get it on there, block that other one back, see how we're dealing with that. I think I might run that across here and just give this another quick scuff back and knock these off and decide whether I am happy with this, because of what this is showing up. It's bloody amazing. I'm going to go try and half tempted to frickin' cut a slice off this again and make some more, but I don't want to, because this is the same stuff, but this is frickin' handy for mixing up body filler on. But I need some more of it. I want to make some more blocks. I might actually start ringing around some of the glass installation places and see if they've got any, bits of offcuts and stuff like that. They've cut off the side of a sheet. That might be, 6 or 7 inches wide or something like that I can make into a few blocks. Even if it's really long, I can chop it down and make small blocks up, so I can have some more grits. But anyway, I'll carry on. Alright, again, so I'll just block this door back. So I swapped one back door for the other. And I'm pretty happy with this. It needs glazing putty now. I don't think I've got a few little marks like here, and I've got a little bit of crap up here where I've been trying to dial this in. And a couple of little spots. I've got a little bit on the edge here. This might be the little mark there, maybe. There's a couple of minor imperfections. So I think glazing putty, and then gently knock it back at some point, and then smash with high build and block it back again. I don't think it's definitely not worth skimming again. I think I'd just be chasing my tail, sanding a whole of your stuff off. But it obviously needed what it needed. It shows, like there's not a lot left from what I put back on top. You know, the few areas that were obviously low before, you know, obviously didn't, for some reason didn't get enough in that. But yeah, and enough down in here. But it's pretty close, like, you know, a little bit of glazing put on the edges and whatever, and it should be pretty good. Anyway, I'll talk to you in a minute. Righty, I am winning. I got one door of sand. This is really, really close to by perfection as far as body fill is concerned. I have got the odd little mark, but we'll pick it up in glazing putty or high build. You know, there's a odd little mark along here, but and there's, like you can see, there's a, I don't know if you can, so odd little mark pinhole in there. There's a little bit of funniness here, but again, glazing putty and high build will get that. You know, there's not much point chasing little stuff at the moment. We'll pour some high build on it, knock the top off the high build, smear a little glazing putty in it, and then block it out. You know what I mean? Like, you know, a little mark there. Now it's a couple little imperfections. There's a line here. I can barely feel that, kinda. I can just feel it with my fingertips. So high build will take that. You know, but it's nothing. You know, like it's barely nothing. Most things will just disappear with the high build. You know, we'll block it back. Touch steel, and yeah, it should be gone. You know, we might have to, like this one here, we'll have to put some glazing putty, and yeah, possibly the odd mark up here, but even that would blow. As we're blowing some high build on it, I'm only going to blow that, you know, just, and they go, you know, blow an extra couple of coats on that, and just in that one area, and that might be enough to pull it out, you know, pop. No, that needs glazing putty, but yeah, you know. So that one there is basically ready to go. Again, you know, apart from a little spot, this one's here is basically ready to go. Again, apart from a bit of crap like this, that definitely needs glazing putty. That won't come out, but it's such a minor thing. You know, I could put some glazing putty in it now. You know, that too. You know, we can smear some glazing putty in it later if I decide to. You know, if I get this one down here and I decide, okay, shit, you know, we'll mix up a little bit of glazing putty and we might better go a little bit in that, little bit in that, little bit in that, and a little bit in that, and be done with it, you know. But we're almost there. We've got 3 down to where I'm happy, you know. You know, I'd like to have no marks, but just the general flow of the whole panel, you know, looks really good. You know, we'll with the first couple of, you know, we'll get a real good thick coat on there, block it back, another real good thick coat on there, block it back, you know, in between a little bit of glazing putty and that, these will just be gold. So that's cool. I've actually think the doors at this one here, I actually need to hit with the, just run the grinder up there, because I know that gap's a bit tight. So I might do that before I put high board on it. I actually might bolt it on, mark on it where I need to. I'm not going to do much, but I just need to run down there. Just maybe a couple of light passes with the flappy wheel, just to open that gap a little bit. If I can get a little bit out of there, because I don't know if I've built. Can't remember if I've built that up or not. And now it's just with the way everything fits, it's a little tight. It's not bad. So that's cool. I'll check what the time is. I think it's getting closer to lunchtime. But yeah, I've actually run over this with the heat gun before, so I'll block that back and then see how I'm getting on. Either I'll stop and have lunch now, whatever. But yeah, that's about where we're at. Righty, so welcome back, guys. So I just finished having lunch. I actually had lunch here because I had to put another door handle on the old green pig out there. The old Mitsubishi Diamante or Magna or whatever else they frickin' call these stupid things. So this is the door handle. I actually made this metal bracket on it because it had rotted off, but I just haven't quite got the geometry right. But I've actually realised, because I just got another door handle, Mrs. dropped it off. Turn the camera around, hold on. Yeah, it's actually meant to have a spring in here as well, which I didn't realise. That was all gone. It was completely rotted off. The actual screws were in here on this side, but I had to put them on the other side because I think this handle's universal, but this piece here is obviously a separate thing, and when they obviously make them, you can either put them on the left or the right, and depending on whether it's a front door handle or a back door handle sort of type thing. So yeah, I just put the other handle in there, and it works, thank Christ. Yeah, it's on the back, but the reason I've got to do that is because I've got to take it in for a safety check, or what we call a warrant over here, or I think the UK they call it an MOT, same sort of thing. I've got to take it in for that. Otherwise, they'll if I leave it too long, I'll get fined for it driving around without a safety check. So yeah, now I've got that done. I think I should be right. Might have to put some wiper blades on it, sort of type thing, because they're getting pretty doggy as well. So yeah, I'll better get that sorted out soon. So I might just hang on to the handle, because it might be, yeah, we'll see. I'll throw it somewhere. There will do. Yeah, hopefully I don't need to replace another one. I just want to clean that car up at some point, get that clear on it, when I remember wherever the heck it is, down there, that standox. I want to blow that on at some point, and then when I get some cash, I want to get something more suited to what I'm doing, and try and pick up a ute or a van, or if I actually manage to, I want to build a rat rod or a hot rod that I can drive around, and probably not all the time, but as a work vehicle, if you know what I mean, because I don't have to go far. But yeah, just be nice to have something that's a bit more better suited, so I can actually throw some bits in the back or whatever, you know, take them to the sandblaster if I need to sandblast some bigger stuff or whatever, you know. That's handy, but actually a van or a ute or a wagon or something would be better. But yeah, that's filling the gap at the meantime. So that's, yeah, I just need to get it safety checked. Anyway, I'll talk to you shortly. I'll get some more sand in there. Righty, so I just blocked that door out. Didn't take terribly long, and I'm pretty happy with it. Again, there's, you know, a few minor imperfections that hopefully between high build and a sneaky glazing putty here and there. Like you can see, there's a bit of a mark along here where it's just hasn't quite got enough in it. But the marks are so minor that it'll probably come out with either high build, or if I need it after it's been blocked back with a glazing putty. Again, probably there might be some marks up here. Doesn't feel too bad. Yeah, there's like the odd little pinhole on the edge and bits and pieces, but you know, by the time we get 5 or 6 coats of high build on here, you know, good smashed on nice and thick. And there's a little mark there too, below where the door handle goes. Now there's a few little tiny imperfections here. Now by the time we smash 5 or 6 coats on there, you know, and start blocking it back, I'll soon be able to see whether these are going to be a problem, and you know, I'll probably even be able to see them. But if I can see that they're going to be a problem, you know, before I block too far, you know, sort of start knocking that top, what do you want to call it, that top finish off after it's been sprayed. If I can see that these are going to be a problem, I can scrape a little bit of glazing putty and then just block it out, if you know what I mean. So that's cool. The doors at this point and to this point are done, I think. I'll have a reassessment. I may mix up a little bit of glazing putty. I'll just have a wee look at all the doors and just see whether it's worth me mixing up a little bit. I know there is some slightly bigger marks in some of them, but they're all at that point where, you know, it's borderline, you know, apart from maybe the old one, like sort of, yeah, like that one there really needs something because it has got a slightly deeper mark. But again, like I can pick it up, you know, and there's bits like this. So I probably, what I might do is, I don't know whether I should try and mark them with something. Like give these all a good blow down, and then maybe just mix up a little bit of glazing putty and just try and scrape it on there really thin. You know, try and fill all these the worst of these imperfections. You know, some I won't need to worry about too much. You know, we should be able to pick them up with, like I said, high build, and if needed, glazing putty afterwards. But that's actually probably the worst. That one mark, that's really bad, and then that, you know, the little bit of putty that we've added into this door because that just wasn't deep enough. And I'll probably, I don't know what I've got, maybe that much extra material in here to make it match up reasonably well. Now once we get it back on the car and we block the whole thing out again, I'll soon better tell whether I'm close enough or not, you know what I mean? But yeah, I think we're pretty good. You know, there's the mark, a couple of marks in here too, but I think apart from that one little piece, or a couple of little pieces on that top edge of that other door, I don't think it's, I'll probably do that piece too, but I don't know whether it's worth chasing now or just wait until I've got high build on it and then have a look. Yeah. Some of them aren't going to come with high build, but a lot of it will. A lot of this will probably come with high build, I would think, just looking at it. I think it would come with high build, but it may not do, but it's no biggie. It's still only the first high build, you know what I mean? So anyway, I'm going to keep blocking, finish and clean this stuff up, block it out. Actually, what I might do is get this stuff all knocked back where it needs it, do it again if it needs it, and then I might assess whether I need glazing putty. It might be worth mixing up a little bit to catch some spots on the body too, because I've still got to double check some stuff around the back of this. I've still got to do the back edge of this, so I can block that off, put glazing putty even in there. I think there's even some patches around here that I could pick up with some glazing putty too. There's that mark that's in there that's been missed because I was sort of, didn't know how much I was going to have to come back to blend in. So yeah, I can probably pick some of that up with that. But anyway, we'll talk to you later on. Cheers. Righty guys, so I'm going to call it here for the end of the day. I've knocked back the body fitter that's on the car and I've reapplied some. Temperature lifted a little bit and I lost a bit of body filler right near their end because I probably put a little bit much for the temp, which was a bit of a pain. So I've got one wee spot that I need to put some more on, but I'm going to wait for tomorrow because a young fella has got his last thing for the year for scouts. So I'm going to go home and get cleaned up for that and go to that because it's just after 5 o'clock. So I'll need to do that. But anyway, so yeah, like, share, subscribe, all those sorts of things. I'm desperately trying to, I wouldn't say desperately, but I'm trying to get to that 1,000 subscribers because I've been doing this for ages, to be honest, since about 2014 or somewhere around about there. I think I may start making my first videos, which was actually, funnily enough, model trains. I did that for a while. That was actually in Tasmania. I've been to there a couple, 3 or 4 times. Too many times, to be honest. I was over in Tasmania 2014. Yeah, back to 2000, end of 2009. I was there. We briefly come back at one point and then went back again. And then left there end of 2014. Yeah, it would have been about the end of 2014, thereabouts. And that's when I was doing model trains over there. I've still got that stuff somewhere in a box. But yeah, and then I started, when I come back, because I had my VC Valiant here in New Zealand, because I had all the stuff here, I started working on that and did some videos on that when I eventually got a chance to do that. And then in 2017, I got offered a job in Australia through some, we'll say sort of friends-ish, family-ish. I'd like to punch them in the nose, but anyway. Went to this job that was meant to be in Brisbane. Turned to shit in about the first week. Could have punched the people in the head, to be honest, because I sold them a Valiant, sold a whole lot of my gear. Basically, we could have just stayed at home and just carried on. But anyway, long story short, travelled around part of Australia, ended up back in Tasmania again. Managed to get a job back that I had been at in 2010. When I worked there, when I first went there in 2000, end of 2009, so I did that job again, did that for 3 years. Started building the Dodge Phoenix, I think, part way through early 2018, I think. Started talking to Heidi and Arco at Minnesota Outlaw Kustoms, which was Outlaw Edge Blade Works, I think, still at that point. Arco, I can't remember. And then turned to Outlaw Edge. Yeah, and then they wanted to build that car for SEMA road. I happened to do drawings, so we were doing that sort of part way through 2019. We're all keen, thought we were going to, at the end of 2019, we were planning to come back here for a few weeks and then go to the States and help build this road. COVID came along, screwed all that up, and I'm still here. And who knows when we're going to get out of here, but basically I'm at the point now where I can almost turn this into a legit business, which is what I'm trying to do. If these other couple of 3 jobs, well, I've actually probably got about 4 jobs that I can do. So I know one of them's definitely a definite, which is a whole new. If I can get this 24 Dodge in here, hopefully stuff to Christmas, and maybe that whole new. If I can get this thing painted and sorted out by then, which I should do. But we are now in December, are we? Almost? We must be, almost, yeah, if we're not frickin' we're close next couple of days. I'm trying to frickin' remember. So yeah, should have this painted by Christmas, I'm hoping, in the next week or 2, as long as we can get all these bits, even if it's just the body painted. You know, I don't have to paint the fenders and everything at the same time because it's a different colour. But if we can get the body stuff painted, you know, doors, main tub, you know, hood sides and tops and all those sorts of bits, if we can get all them painted, that'd be awesome. And then probably get this Dodge in here and this Holden Ute in here. The guy from Call Gas, I've got a 65 Chevy Impala to do some body work on. He wants me to help do, or whether I'm going to do it here or at his place, I'm not 100% sure. And there's possible other ones as well. Plus, I want to build something for myself if I can get a chance. But I'm hoping that if I can get to this 1,000 subscribers and start making some money out of YouTube to go on top of it, hopefully within the next, say, 12 months sort of type thing, maybe if this pandemic stuff ever sorts itself out and we're actually allowed to travel without jumping through 10 burning hoops and you know, nuclear scans and frickin' whatever else they want to do to us nowadays. If we can get over to the States and even spend 3 months, 6 months over there doing YouTube stuff, helping Heidi and Arco, having a cruise around, going to see a lot of these other people, which I'd love to do, even if it's not permanently, and then come back here and carry on, if you know what I mean. Just see what happens, but that's what I would like to do. So yeah, please like, share and subscribe, and hit that bell, and we'll see you in the next video, because I'm going to end it here. I've got way too much footage. Cheers.